particularly using these power characters like Jester. But maybe he takes it home with these teams. This is what he's used to. This is what he's good at playing. He wants to play the game with his own rules. I don't know. Maybe he takes it home this time, Mike.
Yeah. We see a leper composition as well, picked into game 1 by Assorted Chaos. So this is a Jester comp. This is a comp you have to believe is more than capable of taking Joshachu's composition home. This Jester, this Leper deliver a lot of damage. That's high accuracy as well across the board. So dealing with the Shield Breaker and with the Occultist should be fairly easy. You also have to note that the characters that Joshachu has brought to the table right now, not the healthiest of them all, right? He has no real frontline right here. Unless he uses Serpent's Way very early on into this fight, he might just lose those characters fairly quickly. Assorted Chaos takes his time, however, this turn. He passes. What the hell happened there?
You need to change the names, by the way. I'll take over for a second.
Okay, that's
so
true.
taking a very, very long time here to pull out his turn. Passing here, unfortunately. Maybe we are seeing technical difficulties from his side. We might need to see a new game start here, potentially. But if we do not, we are... thankfully here, we're seeing Joshachu be the better man, letting this rope burn out. Really, this is why you need to follow this guy on Twitch. He's a fantastic dude. We need to love him. Look at this. He's taking his turn. It's a big tournament, getting a double crit here on the front row. Both applying Hemlock. A cheeky little dodge there from the Jester. Now, Hemlock applied no damage. Watching this rope burn again here for Assorted Chaos, we are going to see. He's got his mouse on the Jester. There we go. And he is back. Unfortunately, I think we are going to have to make him eat that past turn there, choosing now to battle ballot here, giving everyone a little bit more accuracy. Really will pay dividends again. Are you back, Mike?
Yes, yeah, that's so odd, however, like missing a 10. I was just actually checking my Discord, checking whether the guys have actually messaged me perhaps to do a remake or something because they missed a 10. This is not the case, they're just playing this out right now. And we can see this Shield Breaker moving forward, attacking this Arbalest. So I'm not really sure if this is a mistake by Assorted Chaos or or this was just either some sort of a delay that he was experiencing. I'm not really sure.
He's even, I've had games before where I've been so deeply entrenched in thinking about what's going on that I forget the rope is burning. And especially on this massive stage, Assorted Chaos here might be overthinking it. This is a guy that thinks an awful lot about everything. Probably done a very naughty little revenge there. Very, very effective on turn 1. He's going to get a lot more advantage out of that. By about turn 3, turn 4, you are going to start seeing that payoff.
Yeah, perhaps. But you really wonder what Joshachu's composition is going to accomplish here. This is sort of a stress hybrid, you have to believe. But I just don't see it doing anything to what Assorted Chaos here. He has brought to the table, he has a stone wall in front. Like this Leper not going down anytime soon. At the very same time, extremely potent backline. We have the Jester, the Arbalest, the BH, the Mark, the Execution, the Finale. So much damage coming out of the guy. I just have to feel this is going to be a very difficult game to win for Joshachu compositionally anyway. What do you think his game plan is?
Well, I mean, this is such a powerful team Assorted Chaos is putting out here. Instead of that Crusader stun, he's chosen a Leper that just does so much more damage. That Jester can get a kill almost whenever he wants, regardless of the amount Finale is buffed up, just because Leper and Bounty Hunter with that Arbalest can kill anyone in one turn without crits at some time. So I think Joshachu right now, I think he needs to be playing really defensive. I would have liked to see a you see that 27 crit. I wanted to see a Serpent's Way there.
This has to be the Serpent's Way indeed.
Very, very aggressively here. I want to see him trying to maybe pull in the Arbalest with the Occultist. Maybe, I'm not sure what he's there for. Is he there to mark? You know, this is really difficult to tell from the looks of him, like what Joshachu can do to win this game.
Yeah, there's a decent bit of healing there, we have to admit it. So this brings the Shield Breaker back into decent amount of HP. This Jester is no longer going to be a threat for her. However, you have to really wonder what exactly Joshachu's plan for this game is. Because this is a full meta composition by Assorted Chaos. He has a powerful damage dealer, basically 4 powerful damage dealers, a lot of support as well, a lot of solid trinket choices. It's just something that is going to be very difficult.
Every single one of these trinkets here from Assorted Chaos knows exactly what it's doing here. You've seen the 25% extra physical damage trinket and the finisher. on Bounty Hunter.
But
Every single kill he's got, every single hit on Death's Door will be a kill for him and the Jester, you've got to imagine.
yeah, also the dodge that the Shieldbreaker brings, just 50. It is just 50 right now because of the ballad, because of the revenge. She is going to be extremely easy to take down. So do not let that 50 dodge deceive you. This is just so little right now for Assorted because you shouldn't be bothered by this at all though. You can just prioritize some other targets, leave the Shieldbreaker as this last person standing and deal with her because she's not that big of a threat, let's face it. The biggest threat right now I feel on the side of Joshachu is this Arbalest, and she also, you know, with that Tiller, with this breastplate, she's relegated to healing right now. She's not doing damage, which she probably should be doing. On the other hand as well, this Jester is going to go first next turn. You have to believe he's going to be able to take that kill home.
I think Joshachu here not quite respecting what Finale does here. Trying to get a little heal there, not doing anything. That won't be enough to get him through Finale, will it? 6 to 11 base, I believe.
The question is, like, do you even Finale if you are Assorted Chaos? Maybe the answer is yes. Okay, the answer is yes, never mind.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
he's
I
one
think
of my
Joshachu,
boys. I love using Finale as soon as it can be used, especially when I'm not against a stress composition, just because of this. You get a character lead, you get a direct advantage, you are no longer it's no longer possible to anyhow delay this Jester. Obviously you lose a little bit of pressure, but this also gives you a dominant position in a game. And that's what, you know, Assorted Chaos has actually managed to obtain right now. He does indeed get the Finale, clears the board of this Hellion, and there are just those 3 very squishy damage dealers right now left. Obviously Joshachu by no means out of the game yet. This Shieldbreaker can still use Serpent Sway, she's gonna be relatively safe for the foreseeable future. There's no Finale to worry about, so right now Joshachu does still have a slight HP advantage and a little bit of pressure on this BH, and he might just be able to capitalize on that.
We're seeing a late Serpent Sway here. I mean, after you've taken 3 turns of heavy damage from this Revenge Leper, you really start thinking, is this a bit too late? If I used this, maybe that Leper wouldn't have tried to, maybe he just wouldn't be in this position right now. He'd have more health across the board, he'd have more opportunities to play aggressively here. Every single heal he used on that Hellion was wasted due to that Jester's Finale. Joshachu
agree.
Making, I think, a giant strategic misplays, but not tactical misplays, you know? He's making a misplay in terms of how he's playing the game, not in terms of how he's playing each individual character.
Agreed. By the way, what is up with all those Hellions in this tournament? We have seen quite a few, honestly, and they were all kind of unsurprisingly underwhelming, let's say it like this, because none of those Hellions has really performed to the level expected.
I believe we saw Sticky Blood actually say Hellion comps had a 66.7% win rate.
Are they? But probably this is just 66.6 because we saw like 3 Hellion comp games altogether. Then
I mean, if there's a Hellion in every game, the Hellion is bound to win. But also, the Hellion is bound to lose in every single game. So
yeah, that's kind of strange though. Honestly, I would never expect a tournament meta to contain any semblance of a Hellion, and it does. So
well, Mike, this is the perfect thing about your tournament setting. You are allowed these weird character pick comps here. Joshachu's natural tendency to play these fun, weird comps here, whilst it could have given him an advantage, maybe biting him in the back right now because Assorted Chaos is really running all over him with this remarkably meta comp here. Putting a Leper in here, a touch of genius from Silentio built this comp, really pushing Joshachu down every single scenario. Joshachu here trying to push down that Bounty Hunter. Do you think it's going to be enough, Mike? I'm not sure.
No, I mean, you can still heal this with the Arbalest and just continue playing the game the way you always were playing it, right? The Leper can still... This is going to be potentially a kill on the Occultist as well. I don't think there is any easy way to prevent that from happening. Obviously, you can just double heal, right? But do you want to be double healing when you are Joshachu right now? So he will be doing some sort of damage here, most likely. He'll be trying at least to pressure this BH a little bit.
Yeah, you want to bowl it, don't you?
Yeah, but the bowler, it does enough damage. It brings him to Death's Door. I was actually wondering whether this was
even with that blight on him, that blight on him might have done just enough.
Yeah,
2 damage there, quite low health anyway. I think Joshachu not quite in the woods, but definitely not winning the game so far, right? That Occultist down at Death's Door in rank 1, he can still heal in rank 1. One of the great things about Occultist here, able to use most of his abilities in rank 1, especially
Indeed, but unless he heals for a lot, which he just did, he would have been in a lot of trouble still. No longer the case though, he's out of the woods right now, and actually this BH might die next turn. It is within the realm of possibility that, you know, there is a world in which this BH just goes down to perhaps an aimed shot, or a bola even, which also might threaten this leper. The mark remains, you have to believe this is going to be indeed a sniper shot that might execute this character. And this means that perhaps this occultist will be given enough time to regenerate its HP pool and maybe pull ahead. Because what I would like to see from Joshachu right now...
That bounty hunter being dead at the finale gun, he has no 100% ways to get a death blow.
Indeed.
So really can survive a little bit longer on death, so especially than occultist right now. So play a bit more aggressively, not choose to heal like he's been in all game.
We do see the sniper shot come through. That's a 50-50 though, you have to remember. This is not a guaranteed kill by any means. It is just a 50-50 death blow, with the sniper shot having the bonus against... Oh no, what are you doing? You don't want to... This is all the leverage you had, Joshachu. You could have taken this game right now. But this means that you are not probably going to be able to do this, because this occultist lands at 0 HP once again. This Jester is still alive. This Leper is still alive. Assorted carries a character advantage in this matchup. He can heal, he can do damage, he can do whatever the hell he wants in this game. And he probably will indeed capitalize on this small or kind of major mistake, honestly. Because if you are on a back foot, Joshachu, you have to be taking risks. You have to be making those educated guesses, those risky moves just to bring yourself back in line. He's not doing this.
Joshachu here wasn't making these risky plays very early in the game. He was choosing to heal instead of playing offensively. He's been doing this all 5 times of the series. So can you really... can you really fault him in a way for sticking so stubbornly to that? If that's the hill he wants to die on, it's not working for him, but he's doing it, you know?
Yeah. Also, Sticky Blood told me Hellion has 33% win rate, so it's gonna kind of dip even further down, I feel, right now. So I feel like the read on the meta we had will be mostly covered. Like the tier list we made, right, will probably be very much in line with the statistic that Sticky Blood is preparing. Right, so we might just see exactly what we discussed, like this Hellion being around B+ or even C tier, not really being able to positively impact the games. Whereas you can see, I feel like the Lepers, honestly, being quite solid characters. This 44 crit heal, by the way, looks like a very desperate position for Joshachu right now. This was kind of looking bleak already, but now it just looks absolutely hopeless. That's not a death blow, so a light in the tunnel, but this is not over yet. You have to feel that this amount of pressure, this character advantage that we see from Assorted Chaos might just tip the scales here, because I really don't see Joshachu making his way through this steady front line. All those heals, executions.
Needs a heal again. I mean, you say there's a light in the tunnel here for Joshachu, but I think that light in the tunnel is more like a dim match burning out in the England to France underground, to be honest. I don't really think there's much going on for him right now. He chose to play defensively in such a weird way very early on and even lately into this game, choosing to heal rather than aggress, rather than even try and get a death blow on a bounty hunter. One of the most important characters in Assorted Chaos team you really need to kill.
Those heals are disgusting, though. What is going on? My occultist heals for 2 on crit, not for 36.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy. Or for 0.
Really giving Joshachu a much more brighter light in that tunnel now.
Yeah, but still, so much pressure on him. Look at Assorted Chaos' composition. By the way, look at those guys once again. I think they took a piece of advice from your book. They are taking their time. They're just letting this rope bend slowly. And they're indeed making all those very smart decisions in the end. We see way fewer mistakes today than we saw yesterday. Absolutely, I'm pretty sure about that. Right? So those guys have been playing those contained styles. They're making very decently weighted decisions. I feel like, however, Joshachu's composition is just not allowing him to basically utilize his full potential here. You have to see this Hellion being a very big... what do you call this? Dead weight, right? You can say that she was just dead weight on this comp. Like, she hasn't accomplished anything. She just healed twice and died.
Exactly. I mean, all of this healing come out of Joshachu. Really, we want to see him take... If you don't learn from your mistakes, you are bound to repeat them. We've heard this time and time again. This is ancient wisdom right now that Joshachu is not heeding. This is a very calm, laid-back call that he's probably on stream right now, hanging out with his friends, chilling, just kind of, taking it all easy. But also, I mean, he was a little bit upset to lose in that tournament to me. He wanted to take it home, you know. You never want to lose in a tournament. It's just not fun, especially in the round one. And I know Joshachu is a much better player than what he's letting on right now. Maybe these strategic misplays are him, I don't know, getting a little bit under pressure in this tournament. He's taking so long here to think. Is he going to...
That's the occultist special, man. That's the occultist special.
This is the duality of occultist. That's
he just does that.
Language, bro.
He just does that. But yeah, that's true. But I mean, I know what it feels like to lose round one, like get eliminated from the very get-go. I've been there. I know what it feels like, seriously. So it really hurts, but obviously Joshachu not out of the tournament just yet, right? He just needs to collect himself. He needs to plan ahead. He needs to get his second composition to work. It's just gonna be all perfectly fine, guys. So even though this game looks quite over, honestly, because he just doesn't have enough damage to push through all the healing that Assorted Chaos can bring to the table, can just come back in the follow-up games.
The early finale there from Jester, he might be ruining that a little bit right now, yeah. That is the death blow, thank God. If that bounty hunter wasn't here, if Joshachu chose to attack instead of defend there, he might still be alive, you know. He might still have a great chance to win this game, but unfortunately for him, the entire game has been predilected on his dogmatic stubbornness for that heal.
Yeah.
He's focusing on that healing, and it's really lost him the game right now, I think. I can't see any way for him to take this back, Mike. What do you think?
No, absolutely. He did definitely drop the ball on that one. And you can just see that right now this is just very hopeless. He obviously could have ended up in an even worse spot where he just straight up loses the occultist. But judging by the amount of characters Assorted Chaos has right now, like, he would have lost his occultist either way, right? So he could have potentially just risked it, taken down the BH, and maybe managed to deal with the leper. However, like, obviously the leper left unattended in a fight like this, not the best thing in the world for you. He's back to revenge. He's doing so much damage, and there is so little Joshachu still has to respond to that. This occultist has been stabbing for like 7 to 10 damage. This is not enough. You really need a solid damage dealer to at least outpace the leper or at least push him around, right? So perhaps controlling the Jester would have also been quite meaningful here. Obviously not the case at all. So Assorted Chaos with a very decisive lead in the end. And this pull forward on the Jester very late, this leper lands in third, but there's just, I feel, too little too late, right? You just have to feel that this game is all played out, it's all solved, as you might say, right? And this is just going to be this very brutal ending for Joshachu right now, which will probably take a while because this shield breaker, let's face it, double serpent sway still on the cards, but it just looks super unlikely that he's going to pull through the win here. Like, that just looks so impossible almost, really.
Especially because we've only got one character afflicted. I mean, if the entire team across the board here, I'd say that's an early Caltrops. Maybe not early, but that bleed damage will tick the Arbalest down to death's door. But you've got to imagine Joshachu likes to heal. He's probably going to heal that more clear bleed anyway, right?
Yeah. By the way, at more time, you are watching at 30 FPS, man, because we're watching a stream of somebody else playing. So the tournament relies on Discord to stream, guys, so you have to just be kind of mindful of that. It will not be top tier quality because Discord just provides that. This is the most stable streaming service we have and the most readily available one. So we just have to live with this. This is as good as it gets, guys. It's just, yeah, you just have to get used to this quality for a while. What counts here, what matters here is the competition. What matters here is how well those players perform and all those decisions that they make. The quality is, I feel, secondary. How do you feel, Sis?
I mean, absolutely secondary to the game, and jumping right back into this game, I mean, a little bit of a solved game, but what I'm interested in, and what I'm not sure we've seen a lot of in these games, is seeing trinkets and skills changed around between games. We've seen a lot of teams that have the ability to be the DOT or Stress. This is that duality of the Houndmaster, the Antiquarian, characters like that. I've even seen Stress Jesters before. Very potent character when used correctly. If you've got the incidental DOT damage, follow that up with a finale. Ballad. That's enough. That's enough to seal the game for you. So, in these early rounds, maybe we aren't going to see that because let's be real. The quality of the competitors might be a little bit lower. They might be not quite so inveterate with Darkest Dungeon, especially the tournament scene. And this format, very interesting format, very difficult one for lots of people to master. So, I mean, there we go. Joshachu does lose the game, Mike. What do you want to do, Joshachu, coming into the second game?
Well, we have to have a look at the compositions first, I feel. So that's our step number 1 right now. We're just going to add the point before I forget about this. So Joshachu is at a disadvantage 0-1 against Assorted Chaos. And we'll just have a look at the picks and bans once again. And we'll just try to eliminate one of the compositions of Assorted Chaos, which I believe was the Thanks Silentia comp. So thank you, Silentia, for bringing this one for...
Absolutely.
For Assorted Chaos, I believe. They practice together as well, I believe, so this is a very, very solid setup here. Gone right now, so Assorted Chaos probably being pushed out of the comfort zone because he was very, very comfortable with his Jester, by the way, and with this Mark comp. So this is no longer on the table. We have 2 stress compositions for Assorted Chaos, so we have to basically make an 180-degree turn right now, guys, and play something completely and entirely different. On the other side, Joshachu probably still within his comfort zone. He has a lot of compositions that have decent AoE and dots, so both this Hellion composition with the Grave Robber and the other composition with the Shield Breaker, they are strong DOT comps. I especially believe in the Joshachu comp All or Nothing, which has been very, very good for me. Personally, I've been playing this. Early on the ladder, it was doing very good job. Very bursty, very volatile one, so if you lose a character, you're usually out. However, if you are able to take over the pace of the game, this might indeed be the winning composition for you, because all those slower compositions, like the stress ones here, are definitely gonna be in a lot of trouble against this heavy DOT that the Shieldbreaker, Grave Robber, Houndmaster, and Antiquarian bring to the table. Obviously, the Archon by the Old Faithful one relies a lot more on potentially just damage. It's kind of an odd one out, I think. Like, are you looking at the composition sets right now? What do you make of the final comp of Joshachu, the 4th one, the Old Faithful?
Well, I think Joshachu here with these teams, we've said before, this is a guy that loves playing on his own terms. He's going to make these fun comps and he's going to play them. He's going to be really, really, really good with them here. I think we saw maybe a slight strategic misplay in the previous game, but really can you fault him? That probably got him through an awful lot of ladder games. This is a guy who does play an awful lot of Darkest Dungeon on his Twitch, if you guys follow. Joshachu, again, everyone here, every streamer, really, really, we want this community to be nice and tight. We want it to last as long as possible, get more of these fantastic tournaments in. But still, I think Joshachu here, banning out Assorted Chaos' second Jester team, has a great advantage here. One of these other benefits of the format here, Assorted Chaos is forced to play maybe outside of his comfort zone with some of these teams.
Oh, indeed, yeah. And obviously Joshachu coming into this game, let's just see what composition he brings. We are, I believe, coming into the match right now, so let's just see that. Right, so we can see, as I said, this heavy DOT comp by Joshachu. He brings this one. I feel like he has a decent winning chance against what Assorted Chaos has here. Obviously, this double repost available, though. This might be the thorn in his... What, side? I think this, you say this thorn in his side, right?
We say double repost though, but looking at Joshachu's team, he's got a lot of movement there. If he has taken stun on his Houndmaster, given himself full extra utility, allowed himself with very, very smart play, he can push his Grave Robber and his Shield Breaker back, stop focusing on that single target damage, maybe heal on the Antiquarian instead, use things like the I believe it's called Explosive thing that makes you take 20% higher crits. So that really will be a Panic Darts critting almost every time, and that hits for something like 60 stress. That's remarkable amounts, right?
Yeah, sure, it's 30 crit, like, to get things started off. However, this also pushes this Grave. I feel like this is a small misplay again by Joshachu, just not anticipating what his character is going to need to do later, because right now this Grave Robber not able to use the Panic Darts at all. Maybe this is just a setup by Joshachu, though he just wants to go back, slide back into the back row right now with the GR.
If he uses Shadow Fade right now, he pushes his Houndmaster into an ability to stun, right?
Yeah, indeed. So this might indeed be the plan that Joshachu has coming into this matchup. He indeed just Shadow Fade, so all planned right now. He just did the right thing, I believe then. However, this riposte comes down already on the MAA. It probably will be followed up closely by this Abomination, and you know, whenever you play against heavy riposte comps and you do AoE, it just really hurts, because those characters that do AoE damage, not the healthiest of them all, Also, not the highest resistances across the board, like it's 20% here against Blight. So this Abomination is going to be shredding the Soundmaster. Also, the MAA here with the shield, with the spiked shield here, is going to be reposing for significant amounts of damage. So you have to feel bad for Joshachu right now, because I feel like he has to make a very tough decision right now, like whether he plays ahead, he plays forward, he just tries to take this by storm, or whether he just plays this slowly and in a contained fashion.
Look at that dodge here. Choosing, he doesn't have the flash powder here to reduce the accuracy of the riposte to Man-at-Arms. So instead he chooses to use a plus 10% dodge on every member of his team. Might pay dividend, no, and it doesn't really. It doesn't pay dividend, even against the lowest accuracy ability in Assorted Curse's arsenal though, with 85 base.
Yeah, it's also quite unfortunate, honestly, because I really feel that this ability doesn't quite bring enough to the table to be worth using at all. Because you can just stack the regen instead, and perhaps...
Seeing him restore instead of stun, pushed into two, that's the entire point, Mike. What do you think of that? What do you think strategically? I don't think he's learned anything from his past game, Mike.
I feel like he's just kind of slowly going to lose this one right now, because Assorted Curse has everything he wanted to get this turn. He got the riposte up, he got the DOTs up, he got some stress out as well. He is just safe to play this game out however he wishes. On the other side, however, Joshachu here, I don't think he has a solidified game plan once again. So he wants probably to be doing DOTs, but instead he's just stacking the dodge, which we probably know doesn't quite work that well against riposte, and doesn't definitely work against the MAA, who probably will be dropping command this turn. I would just expect him to do this. I'm not really sure if he has that command. If he does, however, he should probably just use it right away and make sure that his accuracy remains intact. Because this riposte on the MAA lasts, I think, 3 turns right now, or maybe 2, so he definitely has enough time to just do whatever he wants here with his turn orders. He can obviously pull the Antiquarian forward right now, put this Abomination out of position, which means there is not going to be riposte available on the following turn. However, you know, he can just wait with this A-bomb. Actually, he can just wait, he can transform last, and this means that this Abomination's riposte is just going to persist until the very last move he makes this turn. Which is obviously going to be quite soon, but still the Soundmaster probably not going to be able to Hound's Harry for free. So he lunges, that's like...
if that crits big on the Antiquarian, it's going to be put down on Death's Door. And if he, I don't know, I'd like to go for a big lunge here, heavy hit on the crit here rather than the padding darts. A reasonably smart pivot here. Oh, only 12. Punished, Mike.
Yeah. I believe you also saw Flash Powder remove stealth, right? That's what was the Antiquarian did. So this lunge, not as painful as it could have been. So Assorted has actually controlled the lunge very well, removed the stealth immediately, and this means, right, that's what happened. And right now Assorted Curse is pretty safe again. Obviously the HP on the Antiquarian, not the highest in the world, but he's still pretty much okay. We see a lot of stress, a lot of DOT stacked on a DOT composition, by the way. So it is very unfortunate, honestly, for Joshachu here, that he is trying to sustain this. Maybe he makes it through, but like if he tries to stack regions, that's what I'm actually wondering about. Like if he had started with stacking regions and playing passively for the first turn.
Deafen yourself, Joshachu, yeah?
And then pivoted into like, you know, heavy damage, maybe this would have helped. Right, so first of all stacking regions and then going into the damage, but he drops instead of that he just drops the dodge buff, right? So invigorating vapors, I think that ability is called, and this just doesn't do him any good at all. And it just feels like this is a slow but steady loss right now. This ship is drowning, right, for Joshachu. Slowly but steadily it is indeed going down. And yeah, I just wonder what recourse he has in this game. Like, what can he do to basically assume control of it? Does he focus the Antiquarian, perhaps?
I mean, I think he might do that with this pick to the face here. The only other option he has is a Shadow Fade here. Choosing, I mean, if he's not going to go with the stress here, pivoting into this damage, I don't know, Mike. Do you think he's going to win it? Even if he takes this Antiquarian down, do you think he's got it in the bag?
He does have this in the bank, but this is all the sustain that Assorted Chaos has, right? So obviously those two characters, the Abram and the Houndmaster, can still heal themselves, but losing this Antiquarian is indeed going to be quite painful. However, take cover grants you 20% more death blow resistance, which is exactly what Assorted Chaos really wants here, and which indeed means that right at this point, this Antiquarian is still safe in that back row. So it's very unlikely that the killing blow comes through here.
Right?
Can you repeat yourself? Sorry.
I think he's going to survive at least 2 killing blows here if luck is on his side. If he's unlucky, he'll take that 95, he might take the follow-up 80, but again, coming up with this dodge here from Joshachu instead of the healing, really interesting play, especially because dodging itself is a very, very RNG heavy mechanic. You can have 70 dodge and get hit with a 5% chance, you know?
Yeah, but the big issue, honestly, the fact that the Antiquarian, like, I actually like dodge when it comes in conjunction with accuracy debuffs, right? So you have the Hellion, perhaps. This would be a good Hellion comp, right? So you spam the dodge buffs, and you at the very same time debuff your opponent's accuracy. This would have worked. But right now, just stacking those Invigorating Vapors, I don't think this is worth it over Rejuvenating Vapors. Because he could have had 9 health heals every single turn right now. He's slowly bleeding out right now. He's sitting on like 8 DOT on the Shield Breaker, for instance. And this just doesn't feel like a winning game once again. Like, he really needs to assume some sort of pressure in this one, and he just doesn't have the tools you have to feel to do this. He keeps playing so passively.
He has every single tool here. Joshachu is playing Antiquarian Handmaster, Great Robber, Shieldbreaker. 4 characters renowned for their heavy DOTs and their heavy stress. Right now we're seeing no DOTs and no stress out on any of Assorted Chaos's characters. Really something you've got to be wondering, what on earth is Joshachu doing? He must not have used any Festering Vapors. He must have been really lying back on the Hound Harry. Must have just been lick woundsing all the time, which we've seen him do before. And I really think playing this defensively is just going to make it so he's gone already.
Yeah, indeed. Like, it looks very dire for him right now. So, as you're saying, like, he had that tools, but he was so scared of those double riposts, which, by the way, are not going anywhere, right? You can stack those every single turn. There is nothing that stops you from doing so, just because they are unlimited users, right? Both for the Abomination and for the MAA, this riposte just comes up every single turn. And there is nothing you can do about this. And those heals, by the way, those heals on the Houndmaster are eventually going to run out. The stress is slowly piling in. Assorted Curse is playing the slow, contained game, and it looks like he might just take it home.
I mean, at the beginning of this game, Mike, we both thought Joshachu had such a powerful advantage here. He had every tool available in his arsenal to deconstruct the enemy team. Instead, like the previous game, he's chosen to rely on playing defensively, healing an awful lot, using these dodges, which, I mean, I'm going to pass that. But Mike, I imagine you have quite a lot to say about that dodge being taken.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this. Just mathematically, it doesn't seem to be making much sense here. Like, you have to feel that like, instead of the dodges, you could have just stacked the regions and just sort of try to alleviate, at least a little bit alleviate the riposts, right? So you can just take that hit, regen slowly, take another hit, regen a bit again, and you are probably going to be fine. Instead, he chooses to go this very safe way.
This is a 100% chance to get 3 healing, right? 10% versus 100%. Which one are you going to take, Mike? We want to control these games, don't we? We want to kind of control this out.
Oh, absolutely you do. So I just don't like what he's doing here. Like, obviously, it's his game, not ours, but, you know, we're here to commentate, and I feel like he's just making this serious mistake here by just not moving forward enough. Like, he should be playing this more aggressively, because this is his only way to win this. You do not win against stress teams by waiting for them to kill you. You come at them with everything you've got. He has so much in his pockets available right now. He has the Shieldbreaker, the Houndmaster, the Antiquarian, the darts coming from the Grave Robber, not utilized at all either. You have to feel this is basically a game he has thrown away, or at least he didn't give himself a shot in, because he could have easily taken over if he had played aggressively. Obviously, this composition is extremely volatile, so you might eat a couple of crits to the face and just die. At the very same time, if you don't take those risks, if you don't play ahead and forward, you are very likely, you're just basically never going to win. Because he's not playing to win right now, he's playing not to lose. It doesn't work even in League of Legends, it doesn't definitely work in the Butcher Circus here. Because right now, you can see the stress composition just entirely taking over. You can play a waiting game if you are the stress player and your opponent is playing damage, and you're able to slowly sustain that, right? You have this out-sustain capability, you can play slow and steady. Right now, Joshachu is playing against a stress comp, and he's not doing anything to basically push his agenda into this game.
I think this has been the first game in the entire tournament where it's been pretty cut and dry. It's really, really, really unfortunate for Joshachu, and especially for Joshachu fans out there on Twitch. Again, follow this guy on Twitch. He's beyond belief. So fun, so entertaining, so calm. Will really give you a great time. It's so unfortunate to see him taken out this early into the series. You've got to imagine that some of the people in this tournament, Joshachu fans, are going to be carrying that flame forward for him. But you know what?
Is that the streamer curse? Do you think that's the streamer curse? Because Musical is out, Lich is out. Right now, Joshachu seems to be out as well. How many streamers do we have left right now? Shuffle FM is the only streamer left, I feel, in the brackets right now.
Right now, his game's coming up right after this, is it not?
Yeah. So it's looking quite dire, honestly. I mean,
Joshachu, he's misplayed. We can agree on that, right? He's made giant strategic misplays. Do you think that is down to the nerves? Do you think that's down to the fact he's got an audience to entertain on Twitch?
Perhaps maybe just not enough practice, or he doesn't. Maybe he hasn't played against those specific compositions himself, so that might be the issue. Right? This might be the real problem. He just has not played against what Assorted cases brought to the table. Maybe the matches in those.
I've played against these very, very meta comps. I mean, Joshachu here had that surprise advantage. We did see he's coming in here with a novice rank after the reset. So obviously he's not played many games this season, but still, you know, we've got to respect him for coming out here, for putting on a show for all of his fights. It's such a shame to see him go out, man. I'm really, really disappointed. Again, Assorted Chaos here. He's a powerhouse. He's an understudy that has been studying more than the masters, really. He's going to take me out. This will be a battle of absolute gods coming into even these matchups we've got right now. Coming up, these next matchups are going to be insane. Shuffle FM, he's going to put on a show for us.
Oh, absolutely. I think Shuffle plays last, though. There's one more match between. There's going to be our boy Dino playing against SBRH before that.
All of these games, like, can you believe how many games we've got today?
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
This is quite slow of a game, by the way, so this might not be entirely over yet. Maybe Joshachu still somehow, by the skin on his teeth, pulls out a win. So you can't really discredit the man right now, because look at those HP bars on Assorted Chaos' side. There's a lot of HP missing across those characters, and if this Antiquarian actually does die at some point in the future, maybe Joshachu still stands a chance. So, not entirely over for him, obviously, but it is looking very grim nonetheless.
Shield breaker here to not be in rank 1 to get that chance and a killing blow on the Antiquarian here. Really unfortunate positioning for him. Pushing it into first place, fantastic, but a little bit of dodge on there, protecting from death blow. Come on, every Joshachu fans in the chat, we need to give him our support right now. Everyone, type every support he needs right now, because I think he's not quite out of this yet. No. Attacking that out and focusing might have been a bad move considering shipping stealth, increase that death blow resist, but you know what? This defensive slow gameplay, he might have taken some sort of healing tempo now, but he's out of those lick wounds, Mike. He's running low and running very heavy on stress.
Indeed, and this Antiquarian probably not going to be long for this world. That's probably her last turn right now, because this Houndmaster, if he hits that Hound Harry, is going to take her down, right? This is just 185 stress, and she has no way of directly healing herself. So this might just be trouble for Joshachu right here.
He has and see, what I would have done then, I think you agree here, Mike, is using that take cover, 95%.
Oh, perhaps that. Yeah, but this doesn't give you dodge, does it?
You don't really look at him die. Oh, he's dead anyway from the heart stack.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like 185 stress, he needed to dodge that attack. So maybe this is just a dying breath, giving his teammates some healing. Not the worst move in the world, but you just have to feel that this is just too little too late still.
He kills this Antiquarian right now. The Joshachu flame is still alight in this tournament. We all want to see this killing blow here, Mike. Do you think he's going to get it? It's unlikely, but boy, I hope for it. You roll the dice, take it, don't you? Try to.
I mean, my gut is telling me no right here. I mean, this Houndmaster, by the way, by Joshachu also dead, most likely. Look at this. He's going to take a lot of damage, a lot of stress from the Hara stacks as well. Oh god, this is a pass, by the way, by this Grave Robber. So right now, I feel Assorted Chaos goes ahead, even plays with the MAA first, drop that Bellow, and then this Houndmaster is going to drop that for sure, because the Bellow does about 12-11 stress damage, I think. And this probably isn't enough to break this Houndmaster, but it's just enough for this DOT to kill him in the end. So let's just see this coming down. Where I was correct with my maths or not. Yes, I was. So we have 12 damage of stress coming down. This Houndmaster is activated and just dies straight away. There is no recourse at all whatsoever for Joshachu right now. He played this way too slow, and at this point in the game, this just looks like beyond recovery. To be absolutely honest with you, this just looks beyond recovery for him. Oh no, actually no. So that Hara actually triggers first. Okay, never mind. So he is alive. He's very much alive. So actually, I didn't notice, but Hara has to be triggering before the DOTs.
Oh, that 40% stun resistance coming in here with a weighted coin, 10% in his favor, not getting really where he wanted it. This could have been some pivotal energy. I would maybe even gone for the hand, sorry, tried to kill the Antiquarian here. Doesn't quite manage it now. Thankfully, I believe that, well, that shield break here, it's got a little bit of block left on her. I don't think it's going to be...
that's a dead Houndmaster then. Unfortunate.
What a sad doggo. Boom, hard stack on the other one. Look at this dominant. Oh my god.
By the way, did you know that Hara triggers before the OTs? Because it does. That's another little bit of trivia for the Butcher Circus. Because if it hadn't triggered before the DOTs, then this Houndmaster would have died. So it must have triggered before that, which is very cool, honestly. Just learning this right now, like 3.5 months.
Well, look at these dodges! Double dodge on the front and back, and then a dodge back here on the shield breaker. Probably not enough here. Those DOTs outweighing the little bit of regen they have on them. This Festoon Vapors might be double.
Yeah, it's a killing blow. It's just that you are left, and I feel like the Abram just takes it home right now. Even a stun.
Such a shame.
Even a stun is just going to be sufficient here for Assorted Chaos. You know, Assorted Chaos deserves this window. He has been practicing a lot. He has been meeting with people on our Discord. They're actually just getting into those matches against one another, getting those compositions ready. I feel like he just deserves to take this one home. And he's going to be another threat. I feel like this matchup between Adelbo and Assorted Chaos is going to be quite a big one as